flick this one. And we're live! You look so happy when you were doing that. Welcome to episode 100 and this many.
Well, I can't see.
That many. That many.
I never learned to count.
I never learned to read. Oscar moment. So, yeah, hi, welcome. Episode 109 of the Crafty Boys. We were off last week because I don't remember
We were
why.
lazy.
Yeah, that too.
was
And
hot.
Dave screwed it up and totally just like over a barrel, man. So anyway, Dave finally picked a beer yesterday that I can't get because apparently Vancouver's stocking of Townsite Brewery beer sucks balls.
Well,
And Dave and I thought we both got it. But
this
Dave
is where it gets awesome.
neglected to mention that he got a special edition of his beer. So, Dave, tell us what you picked.
well, I picked this thing from Townsite called Perfect Storm.
So
And-
now the deal with Perfect Storm is part of Townsite's regular run. It is an oatmeal stout, and it's available year round. And that is what I got. Dave, show your bottle of what you got.
I got barrel aged.
Right. So he got a special edition barrel aged bottle of the Perfect Storm. So we are not drinking the same thing tonight. So basically, this show is a complete shit show.
I'd like to welcome you all to the Crafty Boys Shit Show edition. But you know, honestly, this is not really our fault. It's more or less it's Dave's fault, really.
It's
when it comes
Dave's
down to
fault.
it. The beer
all
I'm
Dave's
drinking
fault.
today is this. It has I have to let it sit on the shelf for a while, but I decided I was
Swim?
going to
Is
drink
it
it anyway.
swim?
I have been
I think
dry
we should
hopping.
mention that
This
you
one is
can't get this thing anywhere. You
just
cannot get
in
this
a-
beer
in a-
anywhere.
That's right, a bucket in my home. So tonight I'm drinking what I'm going to call this the verse, just because it's right there.
Okay, so Shane,
And,
we want to get to that beer. We want to get to your beer. Okay, but let's
Let's
first
talk about your
Dave,
guys'
let's open
beer
up
first.
ours. Oh, Dave's already opened his. So, Dave, I
Yeah.
want to compare
Look
the
at this
color
thing.
of mine
It's black.
with yours.
It's awesome.
It's an
Okay,
it's
so
an
I'm
oatmeal
expecting
stout.
mine to be
You'd
black
think
as
this
well,
is
but
a
I'm
Guinness.
impressed by the head. So I want to see. Look at that.
It looks the same, eh?
Looks about the same. I wonder. I would really like to be able to try yours.
Yeah, same. I would really like to be able to try mine.
That's good. That's really good. Now, one thing I note is that your head is staying while mine
Mhm.
is almost gone.
Oh, huh.
Which I think is interesting. Now, the beer is 5.5%, comes with an original gravity of 15.5, and has an IBU rating of 30.
Yep, same. Mine is exactly the same.
But yours is aged in an oak barrel. And I wonder if that really makes a huge difference. I mean, I would think it must. Now, out of curiosity, how much did you pay for your bottle?
What was it? I think it was about $10.
$10, as
Yeah.
opposed to the $6 I paid for this.
Yeah.
So
I knew it's a lot more
apparently,
than we usually pay, but I figured
aging
whatever.
beer in an oak barrel increases the cost of the beer quite significantly. Interesting.
Oak's expensive, man.
It is. So I'm really liking this. I think it's easy drinking. It's not, sometimes with stouts, it's very, very filling. I don't really get that with this beer, at least not at this point.
It's
It's
kind
got a
of light,
good
isn't it?
flavor. but it's not overpowering either. Overall, I give this one a thumbs up.
Mine's
What about
got
you,
quite a
Dave?
bit of caramel. I find.
If you're getting the caramel, that's definitely the you get kind of a sweet flavor from a lot of uh, barrel aged stuff, at least in my experience. But
Yeah, I would say there's sweetness, but there's tons of coffee in mine too.
really, tell us
Yeah.
more.
Well, I don't know what. I'm not really a coffee guy either, but I don't know. It's kind
It
of like
reminds you of something that you
mochas.
recall might be
Mochas.
coffee.
Kind of reminds me of mochas.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yes,
does.
yeah. Now, I don't know if I would detect that with the beer that Dave is drinking, but I'm not really detecting that with this. I'm getting subtle bits of chocolate and coffee, but not really strong myself.
Well, maybe that's what the barrel brings out, like Shane was saying.
Maybe.
You know, little extra sweetness, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so here's the thing. I had no clue that they had what you have, Alan. I didn't realize that this was a standard for them. And what I was looking at was a variant.
Yes. So it pays to sort of know your beers, do your research, and all that. And we'll expect that from you next time, Dave.
All right, then.
Take that, Dave.
So what do you think of your beer? Do you like it? You give it a thumbs up?
I do. I like this one.
Okay, Shane, let's talk about your beer. Now, you're drinking
My beer.
a homemade concoction.
Yes.
So what is it? Yes, we know it's beer.
This is a 45-minute boil in which I put 2 types of hops. What did I put in? I have to go look it up. It's in my
Probably water.
The
Water?
recipe's in my fridge. It is a bittering hop and then an aromatic hop, and then after that, I let it ferment for about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Mainly because the temperature kept changing and stuff, so it kept going, and then it would stop, and then it would go a little bit more. Then I I put in some nutrient for my little microbian slaves, and let them work for a little bit longer. And then about 6 days ago, I thought, I'm going to pull it out of the bottle. So I tested it, and it still had a bit of a sweet flavor to it. So I thought, okay, well, I must have caramelized the malt at some point during the boil, maybe. But then I thought, in order to fix that, I could dilute it, or I could mix it with some of the other batches that I've had recently. But then I thought, you know what? I haven't dry hopped in a while, so I dry hopped it for, let's see, I didn't last month. So actually almost a week, which probably is a bit too long, but I just couldn't get to it before today. And so when I did it, I gotta say, this is like so after it's all said and done, it has 3 types of hops in it that were used, and it's like a hop punch in the face, which I kind of like. So it's no longer sweet. It definitely, it's very cloudy right now because it's only been about 3 hours since I bottled it. And it tastes really good. And of course, in all the other bottles, I've added the sugar in it to get it going get some carbonation going on. So I'll probably leave those for a week or 2 before I crack those open, see what happens.
Right.
And yeah, so there you go.
Cool.
And I'll call it, just this week, I'll call it the verse. I don't know what else to call it. Oh, I got to show you something really cool. Oh no, it's way over there. Never mind.
So
is it
on your
gone?
beer, Shane,
Might be gone
is
now.
it an IPA or
It's an IPA. That's pretty much all I make anyway.
yeah?
I mean, the thing is, it's summertime, so you can make stouts, you can make IPAs, you can make sort of amber sort of ales, that kind of thing. Because it's too hot right now for pretty much anything else. Pilsners, lagers, that kind of stuff requires it to be a lot colder.
Yeah.
And you might get away with doing it in our garage, but it's not a guarantee that the temperature is going to remain at any particular temperature. So it could get hotter.
People are in your garage and they're going to drink it.
That honestly, that has not happened yet. But when I came back from Victoria last week, I brought with me 5 fermenters. So we'll see what happens. So
Cool.
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's definitely hoppy. It's got some nice flavors to it, and it's not carbonated. But again, this is what beer looks like and how beer is consumed in England. They don't carbonate their beer. So don't know why. It's just how they do things. Locke would know far more, but Locke is there right now, so we can't talk to him.
Yes. Now, question for you, Shane.
Yes, I have an answer.
Is that beer good enough to bottle and sell? Do you think people would buy it? Do you think there would be a market for it?
This batch, probably not. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, most of the beer that I make, because you can't control stuff to, like a larger, even a craft brewery, that would consider them to be small brewers. You can control temperature and everything. Like those large, big fermenting things have all kinds of stuff built into them that allow you to, this must, ferment at this temperature for the entire time or for a certain period of time, and then another 20 minutes later, I want it, or not 20 minutes, like another 5 days later, I want it to be fermenting at this temperature and stuff like that. So, and you can't really do that. And also, they have a lot of beer on hand. So if they have a batch that doesn't taste quite right, they can mix it in with one that does and keep their brand going. So, because, if you have one beer that was made yesterday and a beer that was made 6 months before that, in theory, they should taste the same. So, much like, Dave's hair. So, because Dave eats his hair constantly.
Which, it's very tasty.
It's pretty good, man. But,
well, and if he ever has a hairdo that doesn't work out, he's got a lot of hair there. I donate my hair to him, and he just mixes it in, and so he keeps his brand going.
I mean, that's how Dave rolls, man. He's got to keep.
That's right.
He has got to make sure, just like my beer has to be quaffable, his hair must be, just so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was getting to a point though with the whole beer thing.
Yeah.
So now it's easier for the average Joe to get in on the craft beer business.
That's correct.
Did you know this?
I did not know this. Enlighten me.
All right. So there is such a thing called contract brewers. These are breweries that exist to brew beer for other people, so that they could take their beer and market it.
That's actually interesting to say that. Because
there was an article in the Growler recently, and a good example of this in recent years has been Fuggles and Warlock, where they actually started by taking their recipes to another brewery, having that brewery make the beer for them, bottle it for them, and then all they did is take the beer and sell it, and until they could get to the point where they had their own brewery. And this is a way a lot of craft brewers are starting out. Instead of investing $1 million into opening their own operation, they are using contract breweries to brew their beer for a lot less money without having to go through a lot of the red tape and getting their finished product, labeling it, and getting it out to market. It allows them to build their business slowly. So I was just saying that if this is something that, the crafty boys want to get into, that is definitely an avenue to look at.
That is not a bad idea.
I put the link to the article here in our
That actually kind of makes me happy because I was looking into. I was driving down Venables the other day, and I stumbled across this place that I don't know if has been open all that long. But they're called Lipolo. And Lipolo is run by like a couple of different, like there's 4 people that founded it. And I'm trying to remember, like it's like a small brewery, but that is something that they do, which is they build your recipe and then ferment it for you.
Right.
But I don't know a whole lot about it. It's just what I've been told about this place, and they seem to be fairly new. And it's like a small tasting room. They don't have a whole lot of beer, but they they have enough to make it interesting. So I was thinking about going there at some point.
There's a new business opening up there in East Vancouver, so it'd be right near your area there, Shane. It's called Factory Brewing. Oh, and they are going to be located near Strange Fellows Brewing, and their whole thing is making beer for other companies. So they're going to be brewing some beer for Doan's Craft Brewing, and some other companies. And it's a great way for small brewers to get in on the craft beer industry without investing a whole lot of money. I mean, they still have to invest a certain amount of money, but
yeah. I heard about this recently. I'm trying to find them because they're down by the metal recycling that I like. Because they were. They had, what was the other company that was in there called Fresh Tap, Direct Tap, something like that. But essentially, yeah, because there's also another couple of places in there. One is a cider house, I think. And we had planned to actually go there a few weeks ago or months ago, because they opened a tasting room restaurant-y thing. But yeah, they're right beside the trash yard, the metal recycling yard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not far from our place, but yeah, it's actually a very cool idea, to be honest. I want to go there right now.
So basically, like I said, the probably the best known example in BC of this kind of contract brewing is Fuggles and Warlock. They started off by contracting Dead Frog Brewery to produce their beers for them.
Really?
Yeah. And then Dead Frog has also helped Steamworks while it was building its Burnaby facility. So so there's a lot of this kind of stuff that happens where smaller breweries that want to market their product to a larger audience will contract brewing space from larger breweries that can help them out.
That is actually a very cool idea. So what are we going to be making then, Dave?
What are we going to make? Jeez.
I think we'll make Shane's IPA.
Make our IPA. But what does Dave like, though? Dave is really into those things that, what are they called?
Soda pops.
Yeah, they're like really lame beer.
The Radler.
A Radler, right.
Yeah. Ooh, hey.
Oh, hey, IPA.
Oh hey IPA. You heard it here first. Named it right here.
And I think
No
we just have to
concealed
make
name.
like a regular pale
TM
ale.
registered trademark. Sorry, say that again.
Just make a regular pale ale too. And then we can go into the crazy stuff. We can go into like the bacon and the cereal and a Fruit Loops beer.
Well, Dave does like his fruity beer. I'm actually Googling that right now. I want to know if there's a Fruity Loops beer out there. The Fruity Loops Blonde Ale, brewed by Devour Brewing out of Florida. Really? Here's their beers. The Fruity Loops Blonde Ale, brewed with fruits of the forest tea. Okay, that's one funky pineapple IPA. A mango IPA, the Blizzard of Darkness Coconut Vanilla Milk Stout. Now that sounds interesting.
Whoa.
Then Mocha Milk Money Stout brewed with Mocha Java coffee. Interesting. Where are these guys?
Florida.
They're in Florida. They are in the where are they here? Come on, you guys must have some sort of location here. Yes, you are. I see it. And yeah, they're right beside where is this here? Boynton Beach, Florida. So Dave, get down there. I need you to bring back some beer. Bring back some beer, sir.
Done.
What is the ABV on that beer that you've got there?
5.5.
5.5. Yeah, this one, I was telling them before we started the show, this beer came out at just over 9%. So I'm going to go slow.
That's why I think it would be a big seller.
And that's true. I didn't even mean to make it that high. So.
I got a, on the weekend, I got an Imperial IPA from Spinnaker's.
Right.
That had an IBU rating of about 100 and an alcohol content of 8.0.
Wow. Did you die?
No. It was called the Jolly Roger.
Okay.
Or something like that. And yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as I was expecting. It didn't have the kick that I was expecting. For an IBU 100, I was expecting a little bit more sort of like in your face kind of, hit me with hops. And I didn't really get that. So now, Shane, you said that you dry hopped your beer. Can you tell everybody out there exactly what dry hopping is?
Well, basically you take your beer and if you think it sucks, you fix your messes and you dry hop it. But essentially what that really means when you boil it all down, well played.
Wow.
Is you take either pellets, which I use pellets, but you can take fresh hops, stuff like that. And essentially you stick it into some sort of straining system. So you can have like cheesecloth, or you can have straining bags, or you can have just basically anything to keep the actual leaves or pellets from mixing in with the beer. And you submerge it into the beer, and then you just let it work its magic until you're happy that it is at a flavor you want. Because
so it's basically like making a beer tea.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. Because essentially, I took the beer, I submerged it, and I would take it out a few days later. Because 3 days is sort of for me anyway, is sort of where I decide if it needs more or it needs less, or it needs to stop. And that's kind of what I did. So I took it out. I actually mixed it up a little bit, let it settle again, tasted it, thought it was okay. But this time, I wanted a lot more bitter to it, so I left it in for an extra couple days, which actually turned into another 4. It's exactly where I kind of really wanted sort of the bitter flavor to it, because I probably boiled it a bit too long, maybe. I'm not sure. But essentially, I really want to sort of get a real hoppy beer going. But every time I've done a batch over the last few months, I've actually done a sort of a different recipe or a different version of the recipe. This one is really hoppy. The previous batch I did, which I also dry hopped, I think worked better. It wasn't overpowering, but I also used less malt in it. This one has a bit of malt still going on there. So I probably will try that previous recipe and maybe tweak it, change it up a little bit. But it's basically for home brewing. It's sort of whatever recipe that you like is sort of where you sort of find that perfection moment where it's like, this is the best beer in the world. Even though it might not be, it's the best beer that you would ever like to drink. So then you can kind of get adventurous after that. And I'm starting to get into the sort of the adventurous stuff, but unfortunately, it's a little bit too early in the year. It's actually in the opposite end of the year when I wanted to do what's a wheat beer, like a wit or something. Yep. But it needs to be colder for the fermentation process, which you can find in winter. But the next one I think I'll do, is I'll try a dry Irish stout, which is very doable with the hops that I have. But I'm going to have to introduce, kind of like dry hopping, you also steep grains in the beer as well to get certain flavors. So that's what I'm going to be doing next, I think. Because this is the perfect time of year for it. So you brew it now, you drink it in the winter.
Cool.
Dave, you going to brew beer ever, man?
Honestly, probably not. I'm too lazy to do that. But it's cool. I could see why there's so many people that are digging it, because it's infinite. You can play with it until you die, and you'll never get it all sorted out. You'll never try everything you want to try.
No.
That's really cool.
It's true. It is cool.
I totally wanted to make beer with Fruit Loops now.
You'd have to get licensing from Kellogg's to do it.
Of course you would.
But if you're gonna go that far, you'd have to make like a Frosted Flakes beer, Corn Pops beer.
A Corn Pops beer?
Yeah. Didn't that Kellogg's?
Oh yeah.
Rice Krispies beer.
Which would be totally flavorless.
Yeah. But it would go Snap Crackle Pop though. When you open up
Frankenberry, I want Frankenberry.
Yeah. What do you think that those beers would actually work? I'm trying to think right now, because right now we're also doing a strawberry wine, which is apple juice, strawberries, yeast. That's all it is. And it's kind of interesting. Really bloody good. We're letting it sit for a little bit more, but
strawberry
oh my god. Yeah, that one actually hit just over 14% on that one.
Oh,
like, I don't know what we're doing, man, but we're doing something either wrong or right. But yeah, the because that's all it really is. And it's really kind of funny. We actually have a bunch of these syrups that you can get for mixing with drinks and things.
Yeah.
And we have a whole bunch of them that we weren't sure what to do with. So we ended up telling some of our brewing friends here in the building and looking online, and people like, just throw in some yeast, ferment it, because basically it's like flavoring and sugar, right? So it's like, yeah, you totally could. So it could be a very dangerous concoction. We'll probably end up dead by the end of the year.
Probably.
So,
or blind.
Or blind, yeah. So yeah, it was kind of a bit of an eye-opening thing about what else could I ferment that's in my house? What other things could I? Oh my god, that has sugar in it. I can ferment that. Would it taste any good? Probably not, but I would like to do it anyway. So yeah.
Cool.
How come you haven't done any brewing yet, Dave? What's wrong with you, man?
Because he's not a beer drinker.
I'm too lazy, and I'm not a beer drinker.
Okay.
I'd have to get through it. My brother has done some, but not myself.
See, I have, but I've just done like kit brewing. Like I haven't done that kind of stuff that Shane's doing, which is something that I would really like to try. So, Shane,
Yeah.
maybe we could do a batch.
You want me to brew for you? Do you want me
No,
like that organization?
contract brewer. No, I'm saying that we should do a batch together.
Okay. I could see that. What do you want to make?
I don't know, beer.
All right, beer it is then.
We'll figure it out.
So what are you
Figure
gonna
it
do?
out. We'll
do you
make,
wanna
we'll
make?
make a special
Ship the
Crafty
carboy on the
Boys
ferry or
brew.
something?
Why
Make
not?
a special Crafty Boys brew. It'll be in stores by the end of next year.
Yep, there you go. Done.
Okay, you've heard
You
it.
ready, Dave?
We'll get it.
Be
FedExed up
prepared to
me.
be a millionaire.
Oh, I'm ready.
Are you
I'm
ready,
We're gonna
Dave?
make millions.
Yeah.
Millions upon millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
Tens of millions of dollars.
Oh,
Of
now you're
course.
cooking with gas.
There we go.
That's more like it. Have you got any final words for the beer of the week that is not mine?
Well, for mine, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. Perfect Storm. I don't know how much of a difference the oak barrel makes in the special edition. If you can get your hands on it while it's available, maybe do that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
totally
I mean, the
curious to
regular
get your
one's pretty
bottle.
good too.
Totally curious.
Well, you guys should stop drinking out of your bottles. Throw it in the mail it to him, mail yours, and you guys can get.
I am going to point out, just because I just noticed this now, but apparently the regular version of the Townsite Perfect Storm won a gold medal at the 2016 Canadian Brewing Awards.
Oh, well.
I bet you yours didn't, Dave. Jerk. With your oak barrels and your...
Yeah, but you know what? Mine is fucking signed by the brewer. Like, actually signed.
Is that Cedric?
That is Cedric.
Not Cedric. Ah, it's Cedric.
Yes, the man himself.
I don't know.
And I seriously think that this is hand signed.
Really?
Like, for real. Not just thrown in the label there to make it look cute.
Huh.
Nice.
Which is
You kiss it too.
kind of trippy. But it is fine.
Cool.
I
Hey,
like
Shane,
it.
do you give your beer a thumbs up?
I give my beer a thumbs up. I'm very pleased. I think that it would be unfortunate if my beer did not win an award, but that's okay.
Oh, it
I'll
will.
have
It will.
I think it will.
When's the Crafty Boys Gold?
Crafty Boys Gold award immediately. Please just hand it over. Yeah,
Next
else?
year we'll be exhibitors at Beer Fest.
that's right. Our brewery will be called the Crafty Boys Rule, or something along those lines.
Crafty Brewers?
The craft brew, the CBs.
CBs.
No,
No.
We'll have to come up with
I
some
was-
cool sounding name.
I was
Bees.
trying.
All right.
Well, I got nothing else to say. It's summertime. What can you say? Any final words, boys?
Not for
Bye.
me.
don't jump in at all. Thanks so much. But anyway, thank you all for watching this week. I hope you guys try the beers, well, except for mine because you can't have it. It's mine. And yeah, so we'll see you all next week when the beer will be chosen by
you.
Me. Yeah, it'll be the best beer ever. And I'll make sure that we can all get it. So thank you again. Waiting for the sound effect.